treat them just the same as anybody else, give them an opportunity to make a living, and to get an education. Whenever this admiration has gone to the left, I have voted for it, and whenever it has gone to the right, I have voted against it. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool party man. I don't know just what party I am in right now, but I am for the party. Anybody that lets his public policies be mixed up with religious prejudice is a plain fool. I would rather see my laws passed than be president. I do not want the voice of people shut out. When fascism comes to America, it will come under the guise of anti-fascism. A mob is coming here in 6 months to hang the other 95 of you damned scoundrels, and I'm undecided whether to stick here with you or go out and lead them. Corrupted by wealth and power, your government is like a restaurant with one dish. The trouble is we've got too many men running things in this country that think they're smarter than the Lord. Quote me as saying that imperial bastard will never set foot in Louisiana, and that when I call him a sob, I am not using profanity, but I'm referring to the circumstances of his birth. I was born into politics, a wedded man with a storm for a bride. Everything I did, I've had to do with one hand, because I've had to fight with the other. They say they don't like my methods. Well, I don't like them either. I really don't like to have to do things the way I do. I'd much rather get up before the legislature and say, now this is a good law and it's for the benefit of the people, and I'd like you to vote for it in the interest of the public welfare. Only I know that laws ain't made that way. You've got to fight fire with fire. We shall have to say right here and now that the hand of imperial finance shall not go farther into its strangulation of the American people, and that the hand of imperialistic banking control shall be decentralized instead of centralized in America. I don't know much about Hitler, except that last thing, about the Jews. There has never been a country that put its heel down on the Jews that ever lived afterwards. Why not let all have their fill and lie down in the ease and comfort God has given us? It ain't enough to get the breaks. You gotta know how to use 'em. I will not participate in the Democratic victory tonight. I do not care for my share in a victory that means that the poor and the downtrodden, the blind, the helpless, the orphaned, the bleeding, the wounded, the hungry, and the distressed will be the victims. We ought to take care of every single one of the sick and disabled veterans. Every man that wore the uniform of this country is entitled to be taken care of, and there is money enough to do it. Huey Long. Raise all the hell you want to, print what you want to. But we're going to have that medical school and every qualified poor boy can go. You will find that you cannot do without politicians. They are a necessary evil in this day and time. You may not like getting money from one source and spending it for another. But the thing for the school people to do is that if the politicians are going to steal, Make them steal for the schools. Huey Long. I'd rather violate every one of the damn conventions and see my bills pass than sit back in my office, all nice and proper, and watch 'em die. I can frighten or buy 99 out of every 100 men. I have never held a public office in my life during which I was not under some kind of threat of removal or impeachment from the day I went into politics until the present day. I have tried for about 16 years to have it some other way, and it has never been any other way, so now I have stopped trying to have it any other way. I'll tell you how to get rid of Longism. See that building over yonder? Get some dynamite and blast that down. Then tear up the concrete roads. Destroy the bridges I have built. You may have covered up the grave, but you have not buried the corpse very deep. I used to get things done by saying please. Now I dynamite 'em out of my path. The only difference I ever found between the Democratic leadership and the Republican leadership is that one of them is skinning you from the ankle up and the other, from the ear down. Huey Long. I would describe a demagogue as a politician who don't keep his promises. A perfect democracy can come close to looking like a dictatorship, a democracy in which the people are so satisfied they have no complaint. Your tears in this country have lasted for generations. Give me the chance to dry the eyes of those who still weep here. Huey Long. They've got a set of Republican waiters on one side and a set of Democratic waiters on the other side, but no matter which set of waiters brings you the dish, the legislative grub is all prepared in the same Wall Street kitchen. Always take the offensive. The defensive ain't worth a damn. Whenever this administration has gone to the left I have voted for it, and whenever it has gone to the right I have voted against it. The trouble is, Roosevelt hasn't taken all of my ideas, just part of them. I'm about 100 yards ahead of him. We're on the same road, but I'm here and he's there. Now, just a word about the poor Negroes. They're here. They've got to be cared for. The poor Negroes have got to live, too. The people of this country want relief, and they do not have to eat a whole side of beef to tell when it is tainted. They have bitten off the hoof of this situation in the United States. They know. We have given them no place to go. You are giving a little man a biscuit to eat, and you put a barrel of flour more taxes on top of his head to carry. But in the name of our good government, people today are seeing their own children hungry, tired, half-naked, lifting their tear-dimmed eyes into the sad faces of fathers and mothers, who cannot give them food and clothing they both need, and which is necessary to sustain them, and that goes on day after day, and night after night, when day gets into darkness and blackness, knowing those children would arise in the morning without being fed, and probably go to bed at night without being fed. They kept on hollering, and I simply had to put my foot down. I said, I'm the governor and I say the ignorant in this state have to learn. blacks as well as whites. And they learned. Our majorities were much better when we didn't have any patronage. I wish I didn't have a job on earth. You give a job to one man and you make 9 mad. Our support is from the poor devils in the forks of the creek, who appreciate what we have done for them. The Bible's the greatest ever book written. But I sure don't need anybody I can buy for 6 bits and a chew of tobacco to explain it to me. I would rather see my laws passed than be president. In a political fight, when you've got nothing in favor of your side, start a row in the opposition camp. You sometimes fight fire with fire. The end justifies the means. I would do it some other way if there was time or if it wasn't necessary to do it this way. Not a single thin dime of concentrated, bloated, pompous wealth, massed in the hands of a few people, has been raked down to relieve the masses. Before this miserable system of wreckage has destroyed the life germ of respect and culture in our American people, let us save what was here, merely by having none too poor and none too rich. The theory of the share our wealth society is to have enough for all, but not to have one with so much that less than enough remains for the balance of the people. I have so many things to do and not enough time to do them. I may not live long enough to do everything I want to do. We started them to school. They learned to read. They learned to work simple arithmetic problems. Now some of our plantation owners can't figure the poor devils out of